anything, like I had the spec down. Back when Bloodthirst used to double your attack after having a killing blow, like back originally, like 1.2 patch, I knew where it was, and I worked my ass off so hard, man, and I got up to that point, and it was like, I came down and I just slaughtered, and I kept slaughtering people regardless of anything. Like I could go in a situation, have someone pocket heal me, and just annihilate 30 people in a second. And it came to that point, and I came to that point in audio where it became as a DJ, what fueled me in that aspect, and mathematically I plotted it out perfectly, and it just everything just. It just seems to the hardware wasn't there in the end to back me up.
Damn, son. That was some shit.
Like, it really is like, it's a hard endeavor, man. Like, it's a hard world to completely grasp. Like, I hate this server. I hate it so much. Like, but there's so many people I know and everything like that. Like, I could just go to a random server and jump, like, man, there's too much crap going on in real life and and it's like, I'm trying to build my new computer right now, and it's like, I broke my collarbone. I was actually about to join the army, and about like, literally like a week after I broke my collarbone, I was supposed to join the army and go in, do basic. Basic would come up with $3,000. $3,000 would have been able to make me get two 280, two N4s, two 280 GTXs, i7, 6 gigs of RAM. Would have had a nice i7 system, two solid state hard drives, and I would be able to play World of Warcraft and do anything I wanted fine normally. And I was like, yeah, alright, I'll go through basic, because I was originally in the army when I was 19, but I pulled out. But now that I've lived life, it's like, yeah, I can go back to the army. But it's like, now it's like, oh, okay, so I'm stuck here doing audio rendering for everyone. Like, personally, as a self, I can't produce music anymore. I can't do anything because my computer holds me back. But in order to get it somewhere, it's like I have to work. But it's like at the point where I was officially, like, literally the day I broke my collarbone was the day I was like, all right, it's all different now, man. Like, because originally what I was doing was we were running a club night every Saturday called House 1085, and we were doing it every Saturday night, but we officially finished, and it was our last Saturday, and I was like, alright, man, now I can just stop. Now I don't have to, like, use that as an excuse not to accelerate with my life, not to go anywhere, because, like, we had great intentions of expanding and blooming, but our city wasn't that great enough to become something. Like, my friend Rob is now promoting in Vancouver, and, like, he's got a large, like, open up endless opportunities, but, like, it didn't do for us. But, like, the day physically of me going, okay, like, I used it as an excuse, as a crutch to steady by, and not to actually go secure a real job. And I spent a whole year, literally like a whole year of doing nothing. And for the amount of time I've worked at McDonald's, just flipping a fucking burger in McDonald's the whole time, and bought all the audio equipment I've wanted by now. But it's like, okay, but there's a learning curve and all that. It's like, now it's like, alright, well, we did this thing, and I know we can do it now. I know everything, because, like, you know how you'll, like, go to school for something, or you go to school to be a doctor, you don't want to be a doctor, you want to be an artist, or you want to be a painter, or you want to be a photographer. Like, you always branch out to see where you want it. And then as soon as I, like music is my life, electronic music, and like as soon as I found out where it was like, okay, that's where I want it, and now this is what I gotta do to go towards it. Because originally I already went to school for installing car stereos. I went over to Toronto. I got full paid everything for school. It was a lot of money put into it, like a lot, to the point where I could become an audio producer. But it's just, and for me, it was like music was a thing, but like I really wish that I fine-tuned and realized that it was music was what I really enjoyed instead of just audio in general. Because I could have, instead of wasting all that money going to install car stereos in that school, I could have went to audio producing. But it's all hearsay.
Oh, really?
Oh, great learning curves, man. I've learned so much, like, as is now. Like, I have the ability now. I know what I enjoy in life. I know what makes me happy, and I know what goes to do it. And back when I was saying, like, I was like, okay, if I go to basic, go through basic, because I didn't want to do basic in the middle of summer because it's too hot. I don't want to do it in the winter because it's like I want to do it in like the springtime, was I wanted to go to basic training, because it's only like 2 months. After it's done, I would go in for like telecommunications, which would be like Air Force for you guys, like radar detection and stuff like that. Like I would go in for like pretty much anything computer and radar. I'd go in for the Canadian Forces, and I would allow them to teach me all of the electronic needs through audio and stuff like that. And I'd be able to do music, but at the same time serve. Like, I realistically have come to a standpoint in my life where I want to be in the army because I want to serve my country. And there's no bullshit about that America's army is greater than Canadians' army or anything like that. Like, I really don't care. Like, America has a vast superpower of advanced warfare items, but at the same time, it's like I personally want to serve my country now as a person, and feel like when I originally joined the army when I was 19, I was young, man. Like, dude, I really don't advise anyone 19 to join the army. Like I see where both nations will recruit younger members to brainwash them, to only allow them to understand, as I'm a foot soldier, or I am like as an individual, you can accelerate so well in your position. There's nothing wrong with that, man. But I've officially seen life. I've partied. It's harder for a younger child that has no opportunities or anything like that. It's harder for them because, like, they always see that through their parents and in that party lifestyle, and it's like, I've achieved that, and it's like, I've done it, man. Like, all I want to do now is go through basic. I've accepted the fact that I can serve now, and that's originally what I wanted to do. And upon that, now it's like when I broke my shoulder, it was like, oh crap, man. Like, it was like at that moment, it threw a large, like, a year delay in me, and I'm like, oh, that really, really sucks. Some people are religious, and some people are like, oh, that's God saying you shouldn't go. Like, my friend Adil, which is my business partner, he's like, dude, I'm very glad you didn't go to the army, because, like, they're not about the army and stuff like that. And I'm like, they're like, I'm glad you're with us still. And it's like, he owns a print store copy, like, it's called Sure Copies. Like, if you like Staples, I guess, for you guys, like, you go into Staples and shit like that, you need stuff printed, you need stuff copied. Like, he owns a very large successful branch here, and it's like that's great for everything, but it's like, for me, it's like I needed something, and none of them wanted me to go to work for the system per se, and I don't know, man. It's a pretty screwed up situation, but I don't know. A couple more months before I can freely do what I want.
Yeah. What are you gonna do after a couple more months?
Try to find employment. Like I say, man. Like, I have to wait a couple more months before I start getting into physically prepping my body for the army. Like right as I was going to like, I was pretty much, like, while I was riding my bike and stuff like that, I was pretty much starting to train my body, getting it back into shape to be able to meet up to the standards of the army, and to be able to lose a couple of pounds and get back in shape and be able to become a commanding officer on the front line, or sort of say, like, physically become adapt to be able to become what is the JTF, which is I guess your guys' which would be your guys' Marines, I guess. Like, a joint task force is our special elite units, and I was attempting to aim to get towards that, and